Hi guys! So today I'm going to make a new recipe that's called winter squash soup. I am in the process of making up a bunch of different soups and I'm going to can them. I've never canned anything before in my life, but the whole process of it fascinates me. And I thought, you know what, that would be a good thing for me to learn how to do so that I can just make up a whole bunch of different soups or maybe do vegetables or whatever and learn how to store them for future use. And I'll know exactly what ingredients I've put in the foods that I can versus buying them from the store. And I don't know if it's necessarily cost effective. I'm hoping it probably is cost effective, but at least I will have the peace of mind knowing that I have food on my shelves that is ready to heat up at any time in case anything ever happens. If we get a huge snowstorm and we're stuck in here, if the power goes out, I can always, fire up my grill and heat up some soup over it in a pan, whatever. So I just thought it might be a fun thing to learn and do this fall. I've got my pumpkin spice everything hat on today because it is October finally, yay. So I'm excited to make this recipe with you guys. So I have our cast iron Dutch oven, enamel Dutch oven here, and I've got a little bit of olive oil in here that's heating up, okay? So the first step we're gonna do is to finely chop up an onion and throw it in here and let it cook down for about 3 or 4 minutes until it gets soft, and then we're gonna add some more ingredients. So I've got my onion here. And do you guys know a quick way to peel an onion? I'm going to show you if you didn't know this already. My mom always taught me to sit there and peel, all the different layers off until you get down to where you need to be. And it's just such a pain. I'll show you a much easier way. In fact, I showed my mother this way recently and she's like, oh, you learn something new every day. Yes, you do, Mom. All right, so we're going to cut the top off and I kind of hold my knife down and just let it kind of pull that peel off. And then we're gonna cut the bottom off and do the same thing. Hold it down, let that peel come off, and then that first layer, I'm just gonna cut through with my knife, and I'm just gonna pull that off of the onion. Sometimes it's thicker, sometimes it's thinner, just depends on your onion. So now we've got a peeled onion. Wasn't that easy? A lot easier than sitting there standing over the garbage can peeling off all the little dried layers, right? So I'm just gonna throw this aside for now. And I'm gonna show you how to quickly dice an onion up. And you can do it as chunky or as fine as you like in Manuel, our sous chef to the kitchen, because he does all of our dicing and chopping for us. No, this is our manual food processor. I'm sure you guys have seen me use this before. I love this thing. It gets quite the workout in my kitchen. So I'm just gonna pull the top off here and cut this baby up into some chunks. Throw it in Manuel and let Manuel do his thing. All right. Oop, one more piece. I made chili over the weekend, and chopping up my onion was so easy with Manuel, okay? Give it a little shake, another little chop chop, and that's it. That's all she wrote. I'll show you what the onion looks like now. Look at that, finely diced. And I didn't need to put my hands all over it, take a knife and sit there and chop, chop, chop. Nope, just a couple pumps with Manuel and the onion is all nice and chopped up fine for us. All right, so I'm gonna throw this into my olive oil that I've had heating. We're gonna scrape the onion off the blades. These babies are very sharp, so please be very careful when using them. Get the onion out of my canister here. Oh, I love the smell of sauteed onions. There we go. All right, so give that a little stir and let that cook down. While that's cooking down, we are going to prepare some carrots. Called for 2 carrots, but these carrots are really skinny carrots. I got organic carrots and they're real skinny, so I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 plus 1 extra small one. And I have a butternut squash that we're gonna chop up as well. And I've got a couple cloves of garlic, that we're gonna press and put in there, and a little bit of thyme, okay? And then I'll tell you about the rest later. All right, so let's go ahead and peel our carrots. And I wanted to show you our set of peelers here. These come in a set of 3. There is a regular straight peeler, there is a serrated peeler, and there is a julienne peeler. We're not going to need the julienne peeler today, but we are going to use the serrated and the straight. We use the straight on the carrots, and we use the serrated on the butternut squash to take the skin off of it, okay? So let's go ahead and peel our carrots first. And these just need to be kind of chopped up just into some smaller pieces, no big deal. They're going to cook down, and we're going to be using our new immersion blender on our soup here, so that's what's going to really blend all of these ingredients together, okay? Put the ends off here, and we'll just chop these up. Some people like to leave the skin on their carrots as long as it's been thoroughly washed. A lot of the good vitamins and stuff are in there when you do that. Let me cut this one in half again. Oh, it was. All right, carrot number 2. I love how these peelers just glide though. Just takes it right off, no effort. So this is the first of about, I think I've got a list of like 5 soups so far that I'm going to be making. So I'm excited about them. There's this soup, there's another squash soup, and I'm debating on whether or not to do it or just stick with this one. And then I also have a beef and barley and mushroom soup that I'm going to do and make. And let's see, what else am I making? A chicken noodle, a vegetable, just a regular vegetable soup, and there's going to be a special touch to the vegetable soup that's going to make it taste absolutely delicious and to die for. I'll tell you about that when we make that soup. I'm going to do a white chicken chili, a tomato basil soup. I'm trying to think if there's another one. I think that's it so far. That's a lot of soups. So I'm going to can them in just pint jars because my husband and the rest of my family aren't necessarily the same type of fan of soups that I am. They like some, but not all. So I'm going to do them in the smaller jars so that I could just pull it out and just make something for me if I want to, or I can pull 2 out and make something for more of us. So, all right, carrots in there. That's all 3 carrots. Now we're going to dice up the butternut squash. Let me give this, what do I do with my spoon? Here it is. Give this a stir. And I love this cast iron enamel stock pot, Dutch oven stock pot. It is awesome. And it's so easy to clean. You wouldn't believe the mess that I have made in this pot with different meals that I've cooked. And it just cleans right up. It's so easy, so easy. And it's not like regular cast iron where it needs to be seasoned because it's got that enamel on it. So that makes it even better. All right, so now our butternut squash. So we're going to use the serrated peeler on that. And if you want to see the difference, if I can show you guys, between the straight, can you guys see that? Straight peeler and the serrated peeler. Can you guys see that the serrated has little teeth on it? Yeah, so when you're trying to peel something that has a thicker skin to it, like a butternut squash, or like a mango or something like that, the serrated peeler works awesome to take off that peel. So I will show you, see? Takes it right off. If you are into pumpkin carving this time of year, the serrated peeler is an awesome tool for getting those special effects. And I am not one to usually make butternut squash. I love acorn squash. I love to just cut it in half, scoop out the seeds, and put a little bit of butter and brown sugar in it and bake it in the oven. Love acorn squash. Butternut squash, though, I think soup is probably about the only thing. I don't know, maybe I've had like butternut squash ravioli before, if anybody's ever had that. And then, of course, we've got yellow squash and zucchinis. Pumpkin, of course, pumpkin pie, right? Pumpkin bread, pumpkin everything this time of year. I don't know, necessarily. I think I might take that pumpkin everything back. I've seen some crazy things lately that are pumpkin flavored or pumpkin scented that I'm not buying. Sorry. My husband, we were at the store the other day, and he said, "Here, honey, look at this. You love pumpkin stuff, right? I bet you'll love this." It was that potpourri spray. It was pumpkin spice potpourri spray. Seriously? Like, I'm going to spray that in my bathroom so that it smells like pumpkin spice? No, thank you. I'll stick to pumpkin pie and pumpkin bread or muffins, things like that. Maybe some pumpkin spice creamer in my coffee, but not going there. Nope, not doing it. All right, so now I've got my squash all peeled. All right, so now we're just gonna cut the ends off, cut it in half, scoop out the seeds, and then we'll dice it up into some chunks. Let's see, I'll take out our chef's knife. Cut the top off, cut the bottom off. Look, see, there's the seeds. And then we're gonna cut this baby in half. And we can scoop out our seeds. And for the scooping out of the seeds, so let me give this another stir. We're gonna use our scoop loop. Have you guys seen this? This is the scoop loop. You can see, again, it has little teeth on it, like it's serrated. And there's a small end and a bigger end, depending on what you're scooping out, whether it's a pumpkin, whether it's a squash, whether it's tomatoes, mushrooms, whatever fits, you use the one side or the other side, all right? So I'm gonna try the bigger end here because it's kind of in between. And scrape this out. This is great for scraping out the insides of your pumpkins for your jack-o'-lanterns. And then make sure you save those seeds and roast them in your oven, not the butternut squash seeds, but your pumpkin seeds. I don't think I've ever roasted butternut squash seeds before. Maybe they'd be good. I don't know. Feel free to comment below if you guys have ever done anything with butternut squash seeds before. Maybe I should save some and use them for a garden for next year and plant and grow my own, huh? Trying to get all Susie Homemaker self-sufficient, right? Okay, so these are now chopped. So now we're going to cut these up into chunks. Like, I don't know, 1-inch chunks I think is probably good. And because when we put it in the pot, we're gonna cook them down, okay? And I love our knife because, our knives here, because it has this, see the circle here? That tells you exactly how to hold your knife when you're cutting things. So you wanna get nice and even up close to the handle on here, up close to the blade, and put your thumb right where the circle is, okay? All right, so we're just gonna chunk these up. I'm gonna put them in the pot. And we're gonna add some garlic in, 2 cloves of pressed garlic after this. My onions are getting a little down. Let me try to get it down just a tad. We're also gonna add a little bit of the dried thyme as well. We just really wanna kind of give these a chance to get a little soft, and then we're gonna add some chicken stock and really let it cook down, okay? Get our squash in there. I bought this squash at Trader Joe's yesterday. Went there with my daughter Sierra. Picked up a few things. I got the butternut squash, and I got the canned pumpkin there. Turn this over. butternut squash is very hard, if you didn't know that. They do sell butternut squash already cut up in the produce section. I think you can also find it frozen as well too. But my thing is, what did they put on it to preserve it? This way, if I'm cutting it up myself, I know that it's fresh, and I know that nothing else has been added to it. No other chemicals or anything like that. Okay, so throw those in there. Almost done with this. Cut up these bigger pieces a little bit. These are going to get nice and soft when I add that chicken stock, and it's going to cook for about 20 minutes to soften everything up. One more piece. All right, the squash is in. Now we're going to do some garlic with our handy dandy garlic press. And again, if you guys didn't know this, you do not have to peel the garlic to go into the garlic press. You do have to have a little bit of an arm to press the garlic, though, I will say. Just because, not that necessarily the tool's fault, it's just the garlic is kind of hard. And I just pull my peel out, just like that, okay? And if you want to get the smell of garlic or onions off of your hands, either use lemons or rub your hand on some stainless steel. Bet you didn't know that, did you? All right, garlic is in. I love the smell of garlic. As I say, can't have enough garlic. No such thing as too much garlic, too much butter, or too much cheese. Okay. Now we need 1.5 teaspoons of thyme. I'm going to show you something about this too. We're going to measure with one of our adjustable measuring spoons. They come in a set of 2. Here's the other one, okay? This one goes up to 1 teaspoon. It goes all the way down to 1/8 of a teaspoon. This one here goes all the way up to 1 tablespoon, and it starts out at a teaspoon, okay? So I need 1.5 teaspoons. So rather than dirtying up 1.5 teaspoons and 1/2 teaspoon, I can just move this down to where, can you guys see that? It might be backwards for you, but we're gonna move it down to where it says 1.5 teaspoons. And that's where we're gonna measure it, okay? So I bought this thyme, and I'm gonna have to take the cover off of it here because I just bought it. I usually use our Pampered Chef pantry items that are usually a mix of things, but this called for just thyme, no other like rosemary or anything like that in it. So I went ahead and just bought the regular thyme. So I'm just gonna stick this in here and scoop it out. Okay, 1.5 teaspoons. There we go. And we're gonna let this cook for about 3 or 4 minutes maybe. It's already started to cook some, so. Maybe another minute or 2. It smells so good. I wish you guys could smell this right now. Ooh, that garlic. This is gonna be a hearty winter squash soup, let me tell you. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and add, it calls for 4 cups of chicken stock. This is a quart container, which is exactly 4 cups of chicken stock. So I'm going to dump the whole thing in here. And then I'm going to put my lid on, and I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes. And this is going to cook down. Love the lid on this because it has these little dimples on here that the moisture, as it collects on the lid, it's going to come right back down and make everything that's cooking in the pot nice and moist and juicy. Okay, so we're going to cover this up. I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes, and we'll be back to finish the rest.